the house of the interpreter. Then Christian began to prepare himself for his journey. Goodwill told him that when he had traveled some distance from the gate, he would come to the house of the interpreter, and knocking at the door he would be shown same valuable lessons. Christian then said farewell to Goodwill, who in turn bid him Godspeed. Christian traveled on until he came to the house of the interpreter, where he knocked again and again. At last someone came to the door and asked who was there. Sir, answered Christian, I am a traveler who was told by a man named Goodwill to come here for help. Therefore, I would like to speak with the master of this house. So the servant called for the master of the house, who shortly came and asked Christian what he wanted. So Christian explained, I have come from the city of destruction, and am going to the celestial city. I was told by Goodwill, the man who stands at the narrow gate, that if I came here, you would show me some lessons which would be a great help to me on my journey. Come in, invited interpreter, and I will show you some profitable things. Interpreter commanded the servant to light a candle and bid Christian to follow them. So they proceeded to a private room and opened the door. Inside the room, Christian saw a picture of a very serious man hanging on the wall. The man in the picture had his eyes lifted up to heaven, the best of pictures in his hand, the law of truth written upon his lips, and the word behind his back. He stood as if he pleaded with man, and a crown of gold hung over his head. Then Christian said, what does this picture mean? Interpreter explained, the man depicted in this picture is 1 in 1,000. He can beget children and nurse them himself when they are born, and as you see him with his eyes lifted up to heaven, with the best of books in his hand, and the law of truth written on his lips, this is to show you that his work is to understand and unfold difficult things. Similarly, just as you see him stand as if he pleaded with man, I also noticed that the world is cast behind his back, and that a crown hangs over his head. This is to show you that he lightly values the things of the present world because of his love and devotion to his master's service. Such a one is sure to have eternal glory for his reward in the world to come. I show you this picture first because the man whom it portrays is one who the Lord of the celestial city provides to be your guide in the difficult situations that you may encounter along the way. Therefore, pay attention to what I have shown you, lest in your journey you meet with some who pretend to lead you along the right path, while in reality their way leads to death. The interpreter took him by the hand and led him into a very large parlor which was full of dust because it was never swept. After Christian had contemplated these scenes for a little while, the interpreter called for a man to sweep the room. When he began to sweep, the dust began to so thickly swirled around the room that Christian began to be choked by it. Then interpreter said to a maiden who stood nearby, bring some water and sprinkle the room. After she had done this, the parlor was then swept and cleansed with ease. What does this mean? Christian inquired. Interpreter explained, this parlor is the heart of a man which has never been sanctified by the sweet grace of the gospel. The dust is his original sin and inward corruptions, which have defiled the whole man. He who began to sweep at first is the Lord. The maiden who brought and sprinkled the water is the gospel. You saw that as soon as the man began to sweep, that the dust thickly swirled around the room and became even more difficult to cleanse, nearly choking you to death. This is to show you that the Lord, instead of cleansing the heart from sin, does in fact arouse sin, giving greater strength to it and causing it to flourish in the soul. The Lord both manifests and forbids sin, but it has no power to subdue sin. Again, you saw the maiden sprinkle the room with water, upon which it was cleansed with ease. This is to show you that when the gospel comes in the sweet, precious influences thereof to the heart, then I say, even as you saw the maiden subdue the dust by sprinkling the flour with water, just so is sin vanquished and subdued, and the soul made clean through faith and consequently fit for the King of glory to inhabit. I saw, moreover, in my dream that the interpreter took Christian by the hand and led him into a little room where two little children sat, each one is his own chair. The name of the older one was Passion, and the name of the younger one was Patience. Passion seems to much discontented, but Patience was very quiet. Then Christian said, what is the reason for Patience discontent? The interpreter answered, the guidance would have done them wait for their best things until the next year, but passion wants everything now, while patience is willing to wait. Then I saw that someone came to Passion and brought him a bag of treasure and poured it down at his feet, which he grabbed up and rejoiced in. And in doing so, he laughed Patience to scorn. But I saw that in a short while, the Passion had squandered everything away and had nothing left to him but rags. Then Christian said to the interpreter, "Expound this matter more fully to me." The interpreter replied, "These two lands are symbolic. Passion is a symbol of the people of this world, and patience is a symbol of the people of the world which is to come. As you see here, passion will have everything now, that is to say, in this life, just so are the people of this world. They must have all their good things now. They cannot wait until next year, that is, until the next world, for their portion of good. That proverb, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, is of more authority with them than all the scripture testimonies of the value of the world to come. But as you saw that passion had quickly lavished everything away and had nothing left but rags, so will it be with all such people at the end of this world." Then Christian declared, "Now I see that patience showed the best wisdom, and that upon many accounts. First, because he waits for the best things, and second, because he will have the enjoyment of his good things when passion has nothing but rags." Interpreter replied, "True, and you may add another reason, namely the glory of the next world will never end, but these earthly enjoyments will be suddenly gone. Therefore, passion had no reason to laugh at patience. Just because he had his good things first, as patience will have to laugh at passion because he will have his best things last. He therefore who has his portion first only has this present life to spend in, but he who has his portion last will have it everlastingly. Therefore it is said of the rich man, you in your lifetime have received your good things just as Lazarus has received the bad things, but now he is comforted as you are in agony." Christian stated, "Then I perceive that it is not the best to covet present earthly things, but rather to wait for things to come." Interpreters responded, "You say the truth, for the things which are thin are temporal, but the things which are unthin are eternal. This is so because present things and our fleshly appetites are such near neighbors to one another, and also because worldly thinking and things to come are such strangers to one another." Then I saw in my dream that the interpreter took Christian by the hand and led him into a place where a fire was burning against a wall. Someone was standing by the fire, continually throwing great amounts of water upon it, attempting to quench it, but the fire burned higher and hotter. Then Christian asked, "Who does this mean? What does this mean?" The interpreter answered, "This fire is the work of grace which is operating in the heart. The one who casts water upon it, desiring to extinguish it and put it out, is the devil. Now I will show you the reason why the fire burns higher and hotter in spite of all the devil's efforts." So the interpreter took a Christian around to the back side of the wall, where he saw a man with a jar of oil in his hand, which he continually but secretly cast onto the fire. Then Christian questioned, "What does this mean?" The interpreter answered, "This is Christ, who continually will, with the oil of his grace, maintained the work already begun in the heart. By this means, notwithstanding all that the devil can do, the souls of his people are graciously preserved." And in that you saw that the man stood behind the wall to maintain the fire. That is to teach you that it is hard for the tempted believers to see how this work of grace is maintained in the soul. I saw that the interpreter took Christian again by the hand and led him into a present place where a stately palace was built, which was beautiful to behold. At the sight of which Christian was greatly delighted. He saw upon the top of the palace that certain people were walking who are clothed all in gold.